You may know of this company called Smallrig. They make cages for cameras and arms for cameras and clamps and brackets, and you do some pretty amazing stuff with their gear when it comes to video rigs for cameras. It's just amazing. And well, if you've watched this channel before, you know I just love LED lights as well. I've got so many LED lights. I've got LED lights everywhere going on here. So when Smallrig reached out to me and they said, hey, we've made some RGB LED lights, I thought, well, I don't know if I want to do it. I've done a lot of these lights lately, and let's be honest, they're all the same. But this one isn't. A bit better. Or is it? Let me explain. This is the RM75 from Smallrig. It's designed as a video light. But you know as well as I do, that's not what I'm going to use it for. What I use these sorts of things for here on this channel is for taking photos like this. It does things that many other lights do. It's got like a dial here that you click and turn that dial. It's got an on-off button there as well. It does, well, it's got a bank of LEDs here, RGB LEDs and white LEDs. It does pretty much what every other light does. It does CCT mode, RGB mode, has all those special effects of police and paparazzi and lightning and all that sort of stuff. And there's that many RGB lights out there now that do this sort of stuff. I honestly think there's a programmer somewhere who developed this RGB pick and to do all these different things. And I reckon he's sitting on the beach somewhere, sipping a beer, enjoying life while he sold his code to so many different manufacturers. But realistically, it couldn't have been that difficult. This light itself, it's not that small, it's not that big, but it pushes out a lot of light. It's got a 4,000 milliamp hour battery in it. It lasts, on their website, it says it's meant to last for 3 hours, but I've had these last a lot longer than that. But in saying that, I've been using them on a smaller sort of emission, if you like. So maybe when you're using the Bluetooth, and we'll talk about that in a minute, and you're pushing as much brightness out of this as you can, it probably will last for 3 hours, but for what I use it for here, it lasts much, much longer. But I didn't want to just bring you another RGB light because, quite frankly, they're getting a little bit monotonous. They're all doing basically the same thing. When you can do that percentage increments of brightness, that's pretty bloody good, and it does everything that we want to do here on this channel here. But what makes this different? Well, two things. One, the magnicity, that's not even a word. The magnetism. No, not that word either. It's got magnets. It's got magnets on this side, on the bottom, on this side, and on the back here. So, like most other lights, many of them have a magnet, but not as, well, adaptable as that. You can put this thing pretty well anywhere, and it's going to shine it in pretty well any direction that you want, and that's kind of cool. And the second thing is the app, and it controls. You can put this app onto Android and on iPhone, and it can control all the things that you can do with this torch with the dials, and that's kind of cool, especially for when it's sitting over in a distance and you're trying to take photos and you want to adjust the light. You don't actually need to go and find the torch, the light sitting out there underneath your subject in the middle of the night. It's kind of cool for that. As I said before, I've held Smallrig in quite a high regard, if you like, with all the stuff that they make for cameras, and I was expecting big things from this, and this as its own, well, it's as good as any other one that I've tested. But when they put it into an app, the app's kind of a miss. You see, with this app, I think when you put lights like this into an app, it's got to make it better. And the app, in my humble opinion, just makes the whole experience bloody frustrating. When I'm out there taking photos of the stars at night with my phones, photos like this, I'm out there in the wee hours of the morning trying to get that Milky Way with my phone, using these lights. It's cold, I'm tired, and the last thing I want to do is use an app that's really missed the mark when it comes to design. It really has. In fact, in some occasions when I was out there taking photos and trying to test this thing, I was on the border of not actually reviewing it at all. I didn't think it was good because it was giving me so much frustration with this bloody app. The reason I really wanted to review this is because the app controls multiple lights. So they ended up sending me two of them. This one here's got the rubber diffuser on it. It just clips over the top, just like any other LED panel light. They come with a little silicon rubber diffuser. The magnets hold them together. It's really quite cool. And then the app comes into play, and it's really frustrating. You see, when I first put the app into the phone, and I paired up the two lights to the app, it worked really well. I went out there and took some photos, and I thought this is going to be a really good experience. and then the next time I turned it on, I could not get these bloody things to connect to that app. It was the most frustrating thing. You see, when I first put this app onto the phone, I tried to connect these two lights, and the two lights are sitting up there now. It was the most frustrating experience I've ever had with an app with an accessory, you know. It was, to connect these things up, it worked fine, and then the next time I used it, it just didn't work fine. When I would go between the two lights, and there's two lights up here, the most frustrating thing about this app, one, it didn't connect all the time, and two, there's this toggle that just does my head in, especially at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're dog tired and you're just trying to get these things to work. So I'm just going to change one of these lights up here. I'll change this one over here at the moment, change the pink. I can change all the settings. Let's put this paparazzi thing, see what it does there. It's taking some like flashes and stuff. Yeah, it's got a lightning mode. You know, you've seen all these things on other apps before. I'm just going to take it back to the HSI, and I'll just change this to a greeny color. We'll leave that one like that. Now, what I'm going to do is go to this other one over here, and we'll change it. It's loading it up. Go to HSI. I've gone to the same bloody thing there because the naming convention on these is just terrible. I'll go back to this one over here, the one I was trying to get. Go to HSI, and I'm just going to change. Is it doing the one I want? See, I can't tell because it's not bloody moving. There's a little toggle sitting up here. If I hit that, now I can change things. And I can tell you now, I thought I lost the app. I thought I lost the Bluetooth to these things when I was out there, because you lose the Bluetooth to these a lot. But it seems to be working right now because that toggle switch is there. There's a couple of other things that this app does. Says it does. I just can't get it to work, and it doesn't. It's not a permissions thing. I've changed the permissions all over my phone to make sure this thing can work. And what I'm talking about here is I'm gonna go to this color picker, and I've got there the camera and a photo icon, and that to me says I'm going to be able to open up my camera to choose a color, or the icon for the photo to choose a color, and then the lights will go to that color. And in fact, on some other YouTubers thing, I've seen that actually working. Now, I've tested all the permissions in this. In fact, the little green light is on saying that my camera's working, but it's just not. It's not talking to the app. Incredibly frustrating this is. Really, really frustrating. But if I go back, I can change them all manually and change the color of this light up here manually. But that color picker, I think Ralph had it working on his channel, but I just can't get the damn thing to work. And to me, when it's phones, it should just be bloody easy. And this here, it's not a permissions thing, like I said, it just doesn't work. And that's really frustrating. The lights themselves are dead set awesome. They're as good as any other LED light out there. But for 80 bucks US, they do what they should be doing. But that app, that could have been just dead set perfect when you're setting up a photo with a tree or something like this photo here. When I've set that up, whenever I've gone out to change the light that's behind that tree, well, I need to walk out like 30-40 meters in pitch black darkness. It's a bit of a pain, but if I could control it all with the app, that would be magnificent. But my experience with it leading up to this video wasn't that good. The lights are sensational. They're as good as any other LED light. The app, it's not as intuitive. Smallrig, you make some sensational camera rigs and camera gear and cages and stuff. The apps, or the light themselves, they're pretty good, but the app, you need to look at your app developer. Maybe they're not doing that good a job. Anyway, guys, honest review, that's it. It works well. The app doesn't work that well. And the lights do what they advertise to do. That's it for today. Catch you later.